Ladies and gentlemen, fellas, it's a Monday of the Masters. It's Monday of the Masters. We already got some content out for that, but it's still a very nice 7-game slate in the NBA. Let me tell you something today. I woke up and I was like, oh, it's a Monday. It's usually 10 or 11 game slates in the NBA, and honestly, it's a very good life to be having if that is a big worry to be starting your day. Oh, I got to cover 3 more games. Oh, I got to go through and project minutes for 3 more games. So we'll take it. We know that we're grateful, but outside of that, after we baseline the expectations and perspective check, right, I realize that it's still a fun thing to do either way, but we got a 7-game slate. It's a little bit lighter. That perfect number between 6 and 8 games starting you Monday off right, the best day of the week. Let's get after it, gang. It's also National Deep Dish Pizza Day today, so Chicago today. How you doing? Stand up if you're in Chicago. A lot of other national holidays. This is a big one. Buckle up. Make sure your heads don't explode. National Go for Broke Day. You know what that means? Well, let's not be dumb here. Let's not just put all of our money on black and then ride it out. And your first day at the casino, your first bet, you're done. You're busto. You got nothing to give. The fun's over. Where's the party at? That was on Saturday, National Party Day. No. Go for broke day. It means take that shot today. Take that risk today. Play in that little bit extra of a stake up if you think you've been itching about it. Come on and join the Discord if you think you've been itching about it. Take that little extra step, maybe that little leap, right? And maybe it's not a big ledge, or maybe you're about to fall off a cliff. I don't know what you're trying to do out there today, but hopefully it's just a little bit of a leap today. Go for broke today. Ask that girl out there you've been talking to, right? You don't got to be weird. Just say, hey, you want to go get a cup of coffee? You want to go to the cafe, right? Something like that. Hey, go for broke day today. Rekindle a relationship with a friend. Go for broke day today. What a beautiful day to start the week. Twist that go for broke and to make it something good for you today. All right. So, hey. 7-game slate. Like, subscribe, do those things. We got a lot of content coming out this week. We're going to be back live at around 5 p.m. East Coast time for the NBA. Morning videos every day this week, and a shit ton of Masters videos. A DFS video already out, so be sure to check it out. Support the Masters. Golf, Millie Maker on Thursday. Yes, $1 million to first place in the golf streets. We're going to have a betting video today for the Masters, a lineup building show tomorrow live, and then a Q&A question on Wednesday. So a lot of content going out. 3 videos a day, depending on the NBA and the golf, depending on what you're interested in. Hopefully it is both of those. So, for all that, right? Here we go. 2 seconds of your time. That like button. Hit the subscribe and notification bell right now. I really do appreciate that. If you're listening on the podcast, if you leave a review, you're always entered into a chance to win $100 Rooskies. Podcast is the Sal Vetri Show. So the injury news today, there's a lot. I'm putting the most key injury news on the screen for you right now. And then we get into the top 12 plays as we always do for you beautiful, beautiful people. Happy Monday. Let's get into it. Kristoff, questionable today. Josh Richardson, also from Dallas, is questionable. Mason Plumlee is out for resting. You might not see it reflected already on DraftKings, but he is out for rest today. And the only other center that they really have on that team, I think Okafor is dealing with injury. I think it's Isaiah Stewart, the rookie, who looks to be in a really good spot today, just $4,000. Fred VanVleet is questionable with Kyle Lowry already out for this team, so wheels up for everybody else out there. Siakam, obviously the top dog if Fred VanVleet was to miss. Isaiah Roby and Josh Hall, I believe a rookie, they have been put into the concussion protocol, so they are doubtful today for me. Bradley Beal, questionable, has been missing the last couple of games, and Rui Hachimura, also questionable out there. For the T-Wolves today, a lot of guys are doubtful. You actually have D'Angelo Russell on the injury report, doubtful. You have also Ricky Rubio, doubtful. And, oh, yes, we also have Jalen Noel, doubtful. So a lot of bodies out there in the last game. We'll go over it in Popcorn Machine shortly. But in the last game, the T-Wolves were playing a ton of minutes for their starters. Basically, the only guys really to be touching the court. The Cleveland Bigs today, we don't have an update. Big shrug emoji. We're talking about the Bigs today. Big old shoulders on those guys. Big shrug emoji for Larry Nance and Jared Allen. We don't know what they're doing today. We haven't gotten an update since they missed on Saturday. James Harden missed yesterday. He is questionable for today. And Kevin Durant remains doubtful. And John Wall remains doubtful after missing the last game. So, drum roll please. The top 12 plays that we go to right now. The number 12 overall play on the slate. He's center only, which really does hurt him. It's Lamarcus Aldridge. Look, I don't really love Lamarcus Aldridge. The price point comes up yet again since the game yesterday where he played 26 minutes. And this is only if James Harden is out. If James Harden is in, Lamarcus Aldridge at this price point sees nowhere near this usage. He will quickly go down to $5,000 after a couple of games probably because James Harden is just going to come in and soak up all the usage. But right now it's Kyrie Irving, them, just a bunch of guys. Joe Harris, Aldridge when he can contribute, right? So it was nice to see Aldridge actually do something in that first game, right? He was only at $44,000 flat and he balled out. He scored 37.75 fantasy points. But, and this is a big old booty. In that game, he had six, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 assists. That's not going to be happening for Lamarcus Aldridge more times than not. In his other 8 games, right? In his other 8 games, meaning the last game that he just played and the 6 before that one where he had 6 assists. The 6 are wild right now. But he only had 7 assists in those games. So that was obviously an outlier for him. So he ended up not getting the rebounds in that last game. He only scores 22 points. So Aldridge right now is a very, very flimsy number 12 play, right? Honestly, there's not that many strong plays after you get to the top 10 right now. I expect a lot more to open up once we get more injury news on guys like Fred VanVleet. Then the floodgates start to open. Kristaps Porzingis, then the floodgates start to open, right? And so on and so forth. But as our number 12 play in the day, he looks a lot like 13, 14, 15, 17, 18. Like all those guys look very similar. He ends up getting the nod there. The price point is coming up. If Harden is back, he'll be a quick, maybe not full on no, but not a top 12 play for me. The number 11 play on the slate is going to be similar. It's going to be similar for me as the Lamarcus Aldridge analysis, and it's Robin Lopez. I never thought this guy would ever be on a slate for me, but he is also center only. He is also relatively cheap right now at 4,500, although the price point, like Aldridge, just did drop up. And for Aldridge drop up, how about that one? Put that one on a t-shirt. It just dropped up. I think I always say pinned down, pinned up down in the description, pinned up down. What is this guy talking about? What are you going to do? But right now out of Robin Lopez, you're getting him in 3 straight games to play 27, 27, and 32 minutes. The problem now is he goes from being $3,900 last game to $4,500, right? And this is not a guy who's starting all the time. So you're getting big minutes out of him. You're getting 30, 28.5, and 25.5 DraftKings points over the last 3 games. He has been the center, right? It's always been this rotation right there, but I think it's just a small sample of him like playing hot, right? So he shot 73%, 70%, and 89% in the last 3 games. He's a center, but he is not going to be shooting and averaging 75% and 78%, right? That's just not going to be happening. He'll average maybe 60, 65%, and that's a good season. So although Robin Lopez is on this list right now, if I project him out for around 20 to 22 minutes or so, once we finalize the projections later today, you could probably expect him to not be there, but he's just another one of those guys, right? Now, once we get into the top 10, they start to separate themselves, but Robin Lopez, Aldridge, all the way down to like our top 20 plays, all look pretty similar today. So I tried to be taking it based on price, taking it based on positionality. Centers usually score more, have a more sturdy floor, and price point. Obviously, these guys are a little bit cheaper. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at Robin Lopez. He is playing out of his mind on his shot attempts. He's getting more shots because he's playing more minutes, but he's making literally, maybe not literally, but basically, well, he's basically is a better word there, basically every single motherfucking shot. To the top 10 we go, and it is Moses Brown, yet another center. And before we get into Moses Brown, I want to let you know about a new sponsor, a brand new sponsor that's clothing your boy, making your boy look real fresh, real good. I got a compliment on this hoodie yesterday out in public. They were like, hey, you looking fresh, guy. Where'd you get that shirt? And I was like, hey, this is a hoodie, my man. I got it from cutsclothing.com. I got it from cutsclothing.com/Sal Vetri. That is right, fellas. Look, we're in the world of business and sports, and look, your wardrobe. You know, I've been talking about it on the live streams. I've been looking for new wardrobe stuff, some bright colors, some more comfortable fits, and I got that, right? I get to blend the sports and the business. I get to blend the versatility of also having a nice fit to it, although it's going to be comfy and cozy inside of it, and I feel good in it. I feel fresh in it. I feel very, very lovely in this, and it's Cuts Clothing. Cuts Clothing ended up doing it. We had them reach out to us. They sent me some hoodies. They sent me one hoodie, a polo, and a t-shirt. So they sent your boy all that. All of them fit well. It's a very interesting thing. They made their own material, so it's a very nice fit to it. I was trying to describe it to like the material, and they were like, yeah, it's our own material to them, because I was like, oh yeah, I've never felt anything like this. They were like, basically take a normal t-shirt and turn it into Tony Stark, right? Turn it into Iron Man himself, how sway, how cool he looks in that. And I was like, honestly, yeah, that's how this kind of feels. They have accomplished, in my opinion, so far from what I have found, the perfect t-shirt. I have the black t-shirt right now. I highly recommend you try it out. And hey, even if you're one of the ladies, maybe you're not a fella out there right now, maybe you're part of the audience, it's one of the ladies, we respect you as well. This is a men's clothing company, but my girlfriend has worn this hoodie already. She loves it, so you can try that out for yourself. Or if you got yourself a man's, I would be very, very excited to be receiving even just a t-shirt from Cuts Clothing. So you can check it out down below if you want to right now. I highly, highly encourage it. It's premium with a purpose. You can go to Cuts Clothing. It's on the screen right now. You can go to Cuts Clothing for 15% off your first order. That's 15% off. That's a pretty good 15% off your first order. Cutsclothing.com/Sal Vetri. That is cutsclothing.com/Sal Vetri. SALVETRE. That is my full name, Sal Vetri, after the slash, to let them know that you came from your boy right here. Any questions on Cuts Clothing, just let me know. I've been able to wear the t-shirt on a conference call, on a Zoom call, and I felt comfortable with that in terms of looking at least professional enough. So there's a lot of different plays for it. You can work, you can play in this type of a shirt. It kind of works for everything. So be sure to check it out. Linked down below in the description, and you can use that /Sal Vetri to get 15% off. So thank you to Cuts Clothing for sponsoring the program today. So now we get to another center, and it's going to be Moses Brown. And Moses Brown gets a nice little drop in his price point. And I do like this because now he gets a matchup against Detroit, where we were just talking about Mason Plumlee not being there. So it's like Jeremy Grant and Isaiah Stewart, the rookie, down low trying to stop Moses Brown. You get the price drop of $200. Sal, why does his price come down? Well, they lost by almost 50 freaking points. They lost by 48 points the last time out against Portland. So he only plays 23 minutes in the game. And now you're looking at these last couple of games and saying Moses Brown isn't the same Moses Brown. No. He's in blowouts. He lost by 48 in the last game. His team lost by 37 the game before that. This Oklahoma City Thunder team is a bunch of scrubs right now. It really is, right? There's no Al Horford. There's no Baisley. Dort might return. There's no SGA for a while. This team is absolutely terrible. It's buns. And even in that last game, he still gets 28.5 points. But this team is just playing in a lot of blowouts. Now, luckily for him, there's not a lot of bodies, so he's kind of playing through some of these blowouts, but it's not going to be happening. Like when you're losing by 20, like against Dallas, and you're losing by 17, like Boston, he still gets his 30-plus minutes. But when you're losing by 35 and 40, you're just not going to have any piece of value like a Moses Brown on your team staying out there. So I still like Moses Brown. With the price point dropping because of 2 back-to-back blowouts, I can get there to him at $7,100 on the slate. I still think, and I still know, he has that pretty massive ceiling, especially because most of his production comes close to the basket, and because he's just a walking rebound on this team. Even in 23 minutes last time out, 14 rebounds, right? He had 7 rebounds in 20 minutes the game before that. 12, 23 rebounds in that massive game against Boston. This man has a lot of rebounding upside. The double-double upside is clearly there as long as the games can stay close. And now we get to the number 9 play, and I actually have a disclaimer on the screen. It says Spurs, back-to-back overtime games. They actually went to double overtime 2 games ago, right? Are inflating the price points of these guys. I should say most of these guys. This man right here, like Derek White, his price point has been inflated, right? DeJounte Murray really hasn't, but to an extent it has because he's getting extra minutes in overtime. Derek White has been getting a ton of extra minutes in overtime, inflating his price point upwards. But Kelton Johnson is not one of those guys, and we can pull it up right now on Popcorn Machine. So this is the Spurs' last game. You can see Kelton Johnson is starting in this game. He plays 7 minutes. He checks in for his normal rotations. He ends up playing the final 8 minutes of the first half. So he has 15 minutes in the first half, not bad. Then he plays his normal rotations. He actually doesn't play overtime, which is maybe concerning for you, but he just doesn't play overtime in this game, and he still plays 31 minutes. This is his total minutes right here. You can see it says 31. So that's encouraging, right? It's not like some other guys who were getting 37 minutes because they played overtime. So that is encouraging for Kelton Johnson. It means that his price point is not inflated because of overtime run. He actually played his normal run minutes. And the thing that I don't like about Kelton Johnson is you don't get the small forward eligibility anymore, but at $5,500, this has been a guy that we've liked all season long, right? A 1.7x multiplier over on SuperDraft. He's been in a pretty deep slump lately, but we've actually seen the minutes come up now. 26, 27, and 31 minutes. His minutes have rose in each of the past 3 games, partially because Lonnie Walker's out. Lonnie Walker is going to remain out for this game, so thumbs up for Kelton Johnson. We like to see that. He finally got there last game. Here's the problem. He shot 7 of 10 in that last game, so he shot 70%. But I don't think he's going to shoot that well again, but he doesn't have to shoot that well to get you there at 5,500, right? He scored 37 fantasy points. You score 30 fantasy points, and that's fine. Shoot 5 of 10. Shoot 4 of 10. Shoot around your season average, and we're still okay with you as long as you can stay on the court minutes-wise. So Kelton Johnson, the number 9 play in the slate, I like to see that he did not actually, I would like to see him benefit from the overtime, but that's not the reason why he was getting you there in the 31 minutes. He actually just played that in straight up regulation. The number 8 overall play in the slate today is going to be Anthony Edwards, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. We can pull them up right now. We're going to be talking a decent amount about these Minnesota minutes right here because all of the Minnesota starters, you can see the starters are down here in the bottom where it starts with blue. This is on Popcorn Machine yet again. So you can see Anthony Edwards starts in that game, Josh Okogie, Jaden McDaniels. They had a lot of guys out, right? They ended up having still Russell out, Ricky Rubio out. They ended up having some other guys out. Jalen Noel actually played in this game just for a little while, and then he ended up getting hurt after about 4.5 minutes of play. Malik Beasley missed this game. Those guys are doubtful today. All 3 of those guys I just mentioned are all doubtful. Look at the starting minutes that these guys got. This is in a regulation game. When I saw this, I was like, the game had to go to overtime. You got 42 minutes, 41 minutes, 25 for Mr. Josh Okogie, so he was the main guy checking in and out, 36 minutes, and 44 minutes in that game. Karl-Anthony Towns played 44 minutes in that game. So I'm not expecting these minutes to stay exactly like this, but this is huge. This is very, very big. You're getting massive minutes. So Anthony Edwards getting 40-plus minutes in that last game, shooting 23 times because he's just playing more minutes. You can see Edwards right here in this game. He shoots 23 times in the game. He ends up picking up, and this is the thing that's interesting. He shoots that many times, plays that many minutes, only 1 rebound, only 1 assist, only 1 steal, and no blocks. So something's going to change, right? Something is definitely going to change, and it does not seem likely that it's going to be Anthony Edwards' minutes or shot volume since all these guys are doubtful today. So what's going to change? Well, he's probably going to find himself 3 rebounds instead of 1, 4 assists instead of 1, right? Maybe he finds an extra block or steal. And when that's going to happen, Anthony Edwards in that much shot volume is going to go from a guy who puts up as a small forward eligible player, right? He's point guard, but also small forward. We still get the small forward eligibility. He's going to be a guy who goes from putting up 27 real life points in that last game out of necessity and 31 fantasy points to now these extra peripheral stats take him to the 40-plus fantasy point range. Anthony Edwards, after coming off of 3 straight 40-plus fantasy point days, is no better prime than today, assuming all these guys who are doubtful are out, to go for over 40 fantasy points. A top 8 play for us. A number 7 play in the day is going to be OG Anunoby. It's just a pretty simple thing here. There's no Kyle Lowry still. OG Anunoby sees a bump. And now Fred VanVleet is questionable. I'm actually projecting in Fred VanVleet as it stands right now, and even with that, OG Anunoby looks very good. It's basically a minute security thing for OG Anunoby, but we always know how good he is on defense, right? And how he's going to be contributing in the blocks and steals department. He has had 3 or more blocks and steals in 3 straight games at this point. But that's honestly something that can hold up. Now he's shooting pretty well, but even in there, it's a shot volume. No Kyle Lowry, potentially no Fred VanVleet. 12, 18, 12, 15, 12 shot attempts over the last 5 games. That's what's leading to this. 38, 38, 36, right? Big minutes. 26 minutes the last time out because they ended up beating Golden State by 50-plus points. They were up by over 50 points in the freaking third quarter alone. So yes, the price point is clearly going to come up $1,000 like over the past week because there's high producers out, and he's now becoming a high producer and getting big minutes. With no Lowry on the court, Anunoby is averaging around a fantasy point per minute, and he gets his usage rate up to 20%. I like to see that. The number 6 play in the day is going to be Jaden McDaniels. We can just go right back, right? We can go right back to what we were seeing on Popcorn Machine and see exactly how many minutes Jaden McDaniels was playing. Jaden McDaniels played a lot of minutes. Now he's a power forward. He played a lot of minutes in this game. He ended up playing 36 minutes. They did not check anybody really in off the bench. You saw Naj Reid playing 18 minutes to kind of back up Jaden McDaniels and Karl-Anthony Towns. Towns was only off the court for freaking 4 minutes in this whole game, which is absolutely nuts. You didn't really see much run out of Jake Layman in this game. Jake Layman only played 18 minutes in this game, so those are kind of the guys checking in for them. And Jaden McDaniels continues to play massive minutes, and he's actually producing now. Look, he only in this game. He only shot 4 of 10 as a guy playing close to the basket. He was able to pick up 8 rebounds playing next to Towns for all that time. That is encouraging. 4 personal fouls might have actually had him lose some run. Let's actually check on this. So he actually lost minutes of play here. Look, he picks up his second and third personal foul, and they immediately pull him with 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Now, I don't know if he would have played that whole second quarter, judging by his first quarter run of 8 minutes and 50 seconds and his second quarter run of only 4:45. He probably would have played this. So he was probably looking at an extra 4 minutes in this game. So he was looking at playing 40 minutes in this game as well. So honestly, Jaden McDaniels, no matter how good he's going to look today with all these guys out, he should have even looked better because he should have played 40 minutes as well. Insane that their minutes were this high. I'm not going to project them for 40 minutes, but if I can give Jaden McDaniels 32 to 34 minutes today at his current price point at power forward, it is going to look like a clear and obvious value on this slate. He's not a strong player, but if you're going to be getting just a guy out there for 32 plus minutes, he's going to fall into, more times than not, 6 to 8 rebounds with what his rebounding rate is. He's going to fall into 8 to 10 shot attempts, and as long as he's half decent in that game like last time out, he'll make 40% of them. So McDaniels is looking very, very nice as it stands right now. The number 5 play of the day, Chris Mr. Motherfucking Boucher from Toronto. Before we get into Mr. Chris Booty Boucher out there right now, let me tell you about Patreon. Come on in, fellas. Hey, it's Masters Week right now. The NBA's rocking and rolling. The MMA returns this week. Oof. Come on in. The MLB projections are firing right now as we get into week number 2 of the MLB. There's a lot of stuff over there. There's a lot of tools over there. But something that's underrated is a community, right? We have a Discord. We have a lot of people helping each other out, whether it's prize picks, whether it's on DraftKings, whether it's through strategy, whether it's just the logistics of how everything works, or whether it's just hanging out, relaxing, maxing all cool in the Discord. It is massively underrated. You have the tools that are going to increase the chances of you winning and reduce your research time and all that. The lineup optimizer, all those projections, ranks, ownership for specific sports, player pools, top interest, right? Top plays. All of that is amazing. It's fantastic. Bundled all together. It's an industry low price and value because your boy is single, right? Got a girlfriend, but single, marital status wise, ain't got no kids, ain't got no house, ain't got no mortgage. I don't got to charge that much money. I don't got to charge $100 and $200. It's just how simple as it is at some other sites to be funding the bunch of employees and contractors that they have, which is necessity. That's just what business is when you scale. So I understand it. There's no hate on those sites by any means. That's just the reality of the situation. So come in, join the community. It's growing. It's a ton of fun. There's about 400 people in that Discord right now. You can get Discord only if you want to, right? I encourage you to get the tools as well. But if you just want to try it out, see what the Discord's all about, get the Discord only. It's all linked down below on Patreon. Come join the community. It's a ton of fun. We'll start to do some in-person events once this COVID stuff, hopefully this summer, knock on wood. Knock on wood, right? I see that we're closer to getting to 50% of the people vaccinated over the next month or so. So knock on wood, this summer, we can do some in-person events, watch some games together, sweat some DFS, do some drafts, be pretty fun. So check it all out down below. The number 5 play in the slate is going to be Mr. Christopher Boucher. Let me pull up this right now from Add More Funds. This is if I take just Kyle Lowry off the court. So it obviously gets better for Chris Boucher if Fred VanVleet's off the court. Chris Boucher plays the 3rd most minutes, as you can see right here, with Kyle Lowry off the court. Chris Boucher. He ends up seeing a 21% usage rate, and he ends up seeing a 1.23 fantasy point per minute production rate, right? And he's going to see minutes. Just by Lowry being out of the rotation, 38 minutes gone, they're going to be putting higher producers to fill that void. And it usually ends up happening. It's weird that they're doing it with a center power forward in Chris Boucher, but it ends up being him. He sees a 22% defensive rebounding rate, as you can see right there, 21.9. The fantasy point per minute production, look, if you just start projecting Chris Boucher right now, below $6,000 Chris Boucher, which is pretty nuts, for his 1.2 fantasy points per minute, although he'll be better than that today with Fred VanVleet if he was to miss, and then you just give him 25 minutes of play, right? So not even that much. He's projecting out for 30 fantasy points. It clearly gets better once you start to factor some other things in for Chris Boucher, like a matchup today against Washington and their biggest threat in Robin Lopez. So yes, Chris Boucher for me is going to be grading out as a top 5 play today. The number 4 play on this slate today is his teammate Siakam, and we can literally click right back over here. Siakam plays the 2nd most minutes without no Kyle Lowry. He sees a 25% usage rate, 2nd only behind Mr. Fred VanVleet, a 1.16 fantasy points per minute, 3rd, basically tied for 2nd, right, with Fred VanVleet behind the before mentioned Chris Boucher, and everything else looks great. His assist percentage spikes up to 24%, which is sneaky underrated. His rebounding rate is close to 20% at 18.5. There's real triple-double upside out of Pascal Siakam, and you saw that last time out. He scores 58.5 fantasy points in literally 3 quarters of play. My man went beast mode, and yes, Fred VanVleet was only playing 19 minutes in that game, but there's a chance Fred VanVleet doesn't play today. So now with Lowry's price point at $8,500, I still think he's too cheap, even if Fred VanVleet's on the court. Again, remember, the matchup against Washington is fantastic. A 116.75 team implied total today is also going to be very, very nice. I should also mention that with Minnesota, all these guys being out for Minnesota today, they have a 117.5 team implied total, which as it stands right now is 2nd on the slate, only behind Sacramento. That game in general, they're playing each other, the highest overall total, 236.5, and then Toronto and Washington. So these guys who we have a lot of interest in, Toronto guys, Minnesota guys, really nice pace environments, really nice overall Vegas total spots. There's a reason why we like them, right? That factors into the projection. They have the 2nd highest total at 228.5. 2.5. So obviously targeting these nicer games is a strategy today. And we'll stick with that plan as you have Russell Westbrook here. If Bradley Beal's out, Westbrook is just a number one play. You continue to not overthink it. Westbrook will look really good. A 111.75 team implied total. This game is not projected to quote unquote blow out for the crowd that likes to fade blowouts out there. Fine, to each their own. It's only a 5-point difference here. Westbrook, 1.5 fantasy points per minute, even if Beal's out there. So it looks fantastic to me. He's $900 under price. And if Beal's not out there, he's going to start to average like 1.65, 1.7 fantasy points per minute. And then he'll probably be about $2,000 under price. There's not much more of an analysis there. I'm going to give Westbrook 36 minutes and around 1.5 fantasy points per minute production today and a nice total spot in a competitive matchup. We do indeed like to see it. The number 2 play of the day, Jordan McDaniels. You right? You go right back to that chart where we were just looking at with all the Minnesota guys, all those guys playing 40 plus minutes. McDaniels, the point guard, was one of them. He played 42 minutes in this game. He closed it out just like most of the starters did. He's point guard only, but that's fine because, I mean, McDaniels at this point, I'm not going to give him, right, 42 minutes, but he's played 33 and 42 minutes in the 2 games where now Ricky Rubio and Malik Beasley have been out. So that's good to see. So even if I just give him 33 minutes today, he'll start to grade out as a quality play as a man who averages 0.85 fantasy points per minute. In that last game, 42 minutes, 38.5 fantasy points, he averaged around 0.95 fantasy points per minute. So it's nice to see that Jordan McDaniels, even when he's not shooting well, just shot 4 of 9 in that game, just average, right? He can still pick up assists, some steals, rebounds because he's just playing massive minutes. So McDaniels does look like one of the top value plays in the slate as of right now. Out of all the guys we've talked about, he's the cheapest guy that I like the most. But we can get to the number 1 play, and now we get to my overall top play on the slate, and that is going to be one, Mr. Isaiah Stewart. Mason Plumlee, the reports are that he's resting today. So if he's resting today, they don't have much left on this team. They really don't have anything left, right? You're going to be having Jeremy Grant and Sadiq Bey play the 3 and the 4. Sounded like I said and the 4, but the 3 and the 4. And then after that, you have Jahlil Okafor today, who's questionable. So maybe they can end up playing him. He missed on Saturday. If Jahlil Okafor is active, I would not doubt seeing a spot start out of him, but he's $3,000 flat. So then there's our value. Tyler Cook, who's a power forward / center. I don't think he's going to be playing much in this game, right? He ended up playing a couple games back, 23 minutes, scored 5 fantasy points. Not a quality player. It's going to be Isaiah Stewart, who likely starts today. Just track Jahlil Okafor's status, but Isaiah Stewart, who's been struggling as of late, back-to-back games are just 28% shooting, not doing much overall, right? Hopefully that keeps some people off of him. He's our top play today. At $4,000, if I project him for 28 to 30 minutes, for a man who on the season is averaging about a fantasy point per minute with no Mason Plumlee on the court, you can say Isaiah Stewart, 3rd most minutes with no Plumlee on the court this year, and we're not taking off everybody, and he's been playing about 900 minutes. He averages about 0.91 fantasy points per minute. So 0.91 fantasy points per minute, not great for a center, right? But he's a rookie. But if we just give him 0.9 fantasy points per minute and 28 minutes of play today, you're going to start to see 25, 26 fantasy point projections on him at just $4,000. That is clearly very good, and that is why he starts to grade out for like a 6x plus type of a value play for us today, and that is why he's our number 1 play on the motherfucking slate. Thank you for tuning into the 7-game slate. Thank you for tuning in for all the top 12 schmacks today. It's a little bit of an interesting slate. Kind of got to weed out this injury news as always, but even today it'll be pretty important. So hopefully you enjoyed your Easter weekend, your holiday if you were indeed celebrating it. Hopefully you enjoyed the start to your week. It's Masters week. It's golf week. Even if you're not somebody who dabbles a lot in golf, check out the DFS video that went out yesterday. It's up on the channel. Betting videos going out later today and a bunch of other content. I'll be live at 4:45 p.m. East Coast time tonight. So be sure to hit that notification bell and the like button so you can be sure of when we're going live. And also be sure, as of right now, to support the sponsor of the program. We already talked about them, Cuts Clothing. Get some good gear. Get some good gear. Get some nice swag. Feel fresh. Feel nice. Feel good in a t-shirt that you can wear literally anywhere, right? You want to wear it to the gym? Wear it to the gym. You want to wear it to some sort of a meeting? Wear it to the meeting. It's literally set for anything. The material is unlike, I can't really describe it. It's unlike anything I've ever felt before. It's very unique. Sports business combo, but in kind of a casual way as well. It's very, very fun. It's very, very interesting. So you can go to cutsclothing.com/Sal Vetri. It's on the screen right now. That's cutsclothing.com/Sal Vetri. Link is in the description below to get 15% off your first order. Check out Patreon, join the community. You all rock. I appreciate you a ton. Any questions, just reach out to me and let me know. See you on the live stream later today, fellas and ladies.